Ms. Lois Frankel from Florida.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the panel. And first, I want to just join with those colleagues who have commended your activities and the economic sanctions in Iran, and I thank you for that. As many of my colleagues have already stated, Iran is the largest state sponsor of terror, lending support for Hezbollah, Hamas, and other anti-Western militant groups. Iran's extremist regime is also a gross violator of basic human rights that consistently suppresses political dissent through intimidation, imprisonment, and torture. And the international community is right to be gravely concerned by the possibility of this, what we hear as a radical, oppressive regime acquiring the world's most dangerous weapon. I'm not going to ask, there have been a lot of good questions today. I think a lot of people don't understand, not necessarily in this room, but that Iran's drive for nuclear weapons is a threat not only to the United States and Israel, but to the entire global community. And the question I have is this: could you tell us, in your opinion, what you think the effect of Iran getting a nuclear weapon would have on the proliferation of nuclear weapons in the Middle East and any other place in the world, and if you could be specific, and how would it, for example, affect negotiations with a country like North Korea?
Congresswoman, I think you make a very important point, which is that we obviously don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon because of what it might do with a nuclear weapon and how it would use it to project its power in the region and in the world, and the kind of world that Iran would want it to be, and the insecurity and instability that it would wreak havoc, not only in the Middle East, but much further, I believe. But also what it would mean in terms of additional proliferation, so that one could imagine that Saudi Arabia, Japan, even South Korea, Brazil, South Africa, many countries that had forsworn nuclear weapons might decide for their own security as a deterrence that they needed to have a nuclear weapon. And I think none of us would want to imagine a world where there were more nuclear weapons powers as against fewer of them. Indeed, the United States and Russia, which have the greatest arsenal of nuclear weapons, have been on a trajectory to reduce the number of nuclear weapons we have. And as the President said in his Prague speech, it may not happen in his lifetime, but he looks forward to the day when there aren't any nuclear weapons left. It is ironic, Congresswoman, that we had the last Almaty session, two sessions in Almaty, Kazakhstan, because Kazakhstan, in fact, in the early 90s, after the fall of the Soviet Union, gave up its nuclear weapons because it thought that it didn't bring them greater security, it brought them more insecurity. And that is indeed the fact for Iran as well. They should see it in what is happening to them now. They are getting economic insecurity, if not fundamental insecurity, because of their nuclear weapons ambitions.
Mr. Carter, anything?
I would add only that I completely agree with Undersecretary Sherman.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I would waive the rest of my time.